So the first season of The Acolyte, the newest Star Wars series, has come to a close, but was it actually any good? So when it comes to the whole deal of The Acolyte, one of the things that really got me interested and kind of curious about this series was the whole thing about being in a new time period. This series was taking place about 100 years before the Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace movie. So that definitely piqued my curiosity and got me a little interested in checking out this series, because I really do think that we need to get more stories and more series or things just outside of the Skywalker saga. So with this being like set in like, you know, the High Republic days and about 100 years before the first Star Wars Episode 1 movie, definitely was interested and piqued my curiosity. And overall, I think I would say that this was definitely a good concept on paper, but when it comes to the execution of the show, it probably was not the strongest. Basically, they were pitching us a series that was basically almost like a mystery thriller whodunit type of show, and we kind of got that, but then it definitely veered off and kind of focused on other things. When it comes to this series overall, it definitely was up and down for me. There was like I'll like an episode and next episode I'll be like on it, or didn't like it as much. Next episode I might like it and continue on. Next episode probably didn't like it as much, and it kind of was just like that basically the whole series. With this series, you marketed towards us Trinity from Matrix, you know, the actress that plays Trinity from Matrix, and you just kill her off within the first couple minutes. How are you going to do that and not give us her being a Jedi? Like, that would have been awesome to see throughout the whole series, but no, they didn't give us that. That's one of the things I didn't like about this series. I almost would have said the same thing about a Wookiee Jedi. How, like, you know, going into the series, there was going to be a Wookiee Jedi character. I was super excited about that. You know, we haven't really got that before. It's like, how are we going to see him become, like, how are we going to see him as a Jedi? That would be awesome to see him fighting as a Jedi and all that stuff. And I was kind of thinking that the same along the lines as, you know, the other character of, you know, the actress Carrie-Anne Moss for her character. But lo and behold, they actually did something with the Wookiee Jedi finally in one of the later episodes, and I actually was kind of happy and excited to actually see some action with the Wookiee Jedi. There was definitely some characters I did like. I liked the Jedi Soul character. I definitely did like him. He was definitely a highlight throughout the series for me, at least. I did like Daphne Keene's character, Jackie, I believe her name was. I just like the actress in general, so I like to see her in anything she comes out in. So it was kind of cool and awesome to see her as a Jedi in here. When it comes to this series overall, I think a lot of things could have been cut out of this series to make it a more tighter story. There was definitely some episodes that felt like they could have been cut or shortened, or maybe even combined a couple episodes here and there, but that's just my opinion. Like, I definitely think they could have cut some things out of here, honestly. And the episodes are very short as it is. You know, each episode was usually around 30 minutes, 35 minutes maybe. The longest episode was probably like 45 minutes. So it ran around that time frame of each episode being kind of short already. So it felt like they were dragging some stuff out, or it felt like there was times where it felt like we didn't really get enough or fleshed out enough information or things going on at times too. So either they need to cut some stuff and flesh some other things out, or they just need to just cut some stuff in general, maybe even combined a couple episodes here and there. And there were times where they kept teasing these questions, teasing these different mysteries, and not fully answering everything. Honestly, by the time this series was said and done, I had a lot of unanswered questions, and it's like, I don't know if they're trying to save it for like a season 2, or we're just never going to get the answers to these questions that we have, or the questions that they basically set us up with. And it's like, we got unanswered questions left after this series is finished. And throughout this series, there was a lot of repeated stuff, whether it was like flashbacks, repeated people talking and characters speaking, basically saying the same thing over and over and over again, or just scenes that were repeated, especially when it came to like some of the flashback episodes. Like, we literally got a flashback episode, and then like a couple episodes later we get the same exact episode, basically, to where it's the same exact flashbacks, but it's told in a different perspective of a different character. And it's like, there could have been a way they could have shortened that, cut that, sort of melded together those episodes or something like that. Maybe just some other way they could have done it a better job of doing that, instead of giving us repeated stuff, a lot of characters repeating a lot of things and saying a lot of the same stuff over and over again. Like, I just feel like we could have gone without like reliving scenes over and over again. And honestly, a couple of stuff here and there was definitely predictable, like when it came to the, you know, the full reveal of who the villain actually is, the identity of the villain. And honestly, it was so predictable. I guessed it like a few episodes ahead of time. It was just so predictable. A couple other things were predictable also. I will say though, one of the highlights of the series, one of the things that I probably enjoyed the most about the series was the action. The action was definitely top notch, and it was done really well, especially when it came to some of the lightsaber fights. I gotta say, this is probably some of the best lightsaber fights we've seen in a while in Star Wars, and they just did an excellent job with that. That's probably my most liked and thing I enjoyed seeing the most in this series was the action and lightsaber fights. Watching this series, you know, like I was saying before, they gave us a lot of questions that were left unanswered. And really a big question for this series, I would say, is why? Why did these characters do what they do? Why did this happen? Or why did certain things happen? And I just feel like they really didn't answer everything that they, you know, put the question out there for us. So I would say definitely why is a big question for this series. Like, why did these characters do these certain things? Why did that thing happen? Why did this thing happened? And they just didn't answer that completely. Like I was saying before, Soul was probably one of my favorite characters in this series. I really got invested with his character, and the fact that he gave a great performance, and especially for the actor who was learning English for the first time just for this role, I gotta say he was probably one of the highlights of the series when it comes to the characters. Really enjoyed his character and what his character did and all this stuff. A little dodgy in the end what they did with his character, but still I enjoyed his character for the most part. So I gotta say, great performance from him. When it comes to like the finale, for the most part, I enjoyed the finale, you know, the final episode and the things that it was trying to do. I guess it was trying to set up a season 2 in a way, and I do like some of the concepts and things that they came up with the finale. I guess I'll say the finale did enough to get me curious for season 2. Like, if they did a season 2, I'll check it out. I think the finale did enough things, enough, you know, things here and there, enough bits to get me to at least check out a season 2. You know, I won't say I'll be super excited for season 2 or anything like that. And if they don't happen to come out with a season 2, it's not like I'll be bummed about it or anything like that. But they did enough bits here and there in the finale to at least get me to check out a season 2 if they do come out with a season 2. And of course, when it comes to Star Wars stuff, the fan base is so toxic. The toxicity of the fan base is crazy, and this show was no exception. This show is so divisive in the community of Star Wars fans, and just the discourse online that you see around this series, to where people are bashing on other people for liking this series, other people are bashing on it like just the show in general. And it was just like a lot of discourse going on online. It was just so exhausting seeing all the different comments, seeing everybody go against this series and just go against people in general too, saying how can you like this series? If you like this series, you like woke stuff. Woke, that word woke came up a lot again. So a lot of discourse online was just exhausting to see and hear and everything like that. But when it comes down to this series, I will say though, overall, it's not the best Star Wars series, but it's not the worst either. You know, it's kind of down the middle of the road for me. Like I said, there's a couple things here and there that I did like. There was definitely some other things I didn't like about the series. So I definitely was up and down on this series overall. So it's not the worst Star Wars series, and it's definitely not the best for certain. But let me know down in the comments below if you actually checked out the Acolyte series and what did you think about it, if you saw it. But that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one.